chest thumpers. Yeah, they're those guys who claim that they're this, that, the other, that they're a millionaire, that they're an alpha. Oh, I love that shit, you know, when they go around saying, I'm an alpha male, you know, I don't know about you, but I'm an alpha. These chest thumpers, man, they're fucking pathetic. You know why chest thumpers are pathetic? Because they're usually full of shit. Yeah. Whenever a guy says that he's a millionaire, he's probably broke. Whenever a guy says that he's an alpha, he's probably a little follower, little beta bitch. Whenever a guy says that he has class, he's probably a scumbag. Whenever a guy says that he's honest, fuck, run, motherfucker. Yeah. Anytime a guy thumps his chest about any fucking quality that he purportedly has, it's likely as not the exact opposite. No exceptions ever. A guy who is actually something, like he's very smart, or he's very rich, or he's very talented, or whatever, he doesn't have to reiterate it. He just is. He's that thing. He just walks around in it like normal. I mean, like, you know, it's sort of like, you know, do you think very much about the car that you're driving? No, certainly not. You get into it, you get out of it, you drive here, you drive there, right? It's just something that you have. If somebody stops and wants to talk about it, you say, oh yeah, I have this car, but you don't really think about it because it's the car, right? Say you're driving a Ferrari, right? Yeah, of course, when you got it, it was like a big deal. Ooh, I have a Ferrari. Ain't it cool? Yeah. But then you drove it around a while, you know, it became your daily driver. So you got yourself a Ferrari California, right? It's your daily driver, you're going here, there, the other, you're going shopping, you go to Home Depot or whatever the fuck, right? You go to the supermarket, and after a while, it's just a car. Somebody might stop you and say, holy cow, that's a Ferrari. And you'll be like, oh yeah, it is a Ferrari, yeah, look at that, yeah? But you know, you're not thinking about it. The same with personal qualities. You're smart, you're rich, you're talented, you're alpha. You don't have to say it. You don't have to dwell on it. You just are that thing. And you act around and you walk around as if you are that thing because you are that thing, right? Now, chest thumpers, why are they doing this? Well, because more likely than not, they are close to being that thing that they are thumping their chests about, but they are not really, okay? There is a gap, and usually a substantial gap. A chest thumper who says that he's a millionaire, he probably is earning a very good living, but he's not really a millionaire. Because again, a real millionaire doesn't have to say that he's a millionaire. He just is one, right? Yeah, you see my point? A chest thumper is trying to label himself so as to emphasize to you or anybody else listening to him that he is this particular label, right? But somebody who is actually that thing does not think to label themselves as that thing. And see, this gap between the reality and what they are struggling to project out into the world, sometimes this gap is fairly large and sometimes it's enormous, yeah? And sometimes, a lot of times, if you buy into what the chest thumper is trying to tell you, you're going to fall into that chasm. You're going to fall into that gap. Yeah. He claims that he's alpha. You're going to realize that he's a follower. And because he's a follower, he's going to be very insecure. He's going to be the opposite of the alpha. He'll be very insecure and very volatile. The guy claims he's a millionaire. Yeah, he'll probably doesn't have a pot to piss in, and you know, you go to a restaurant, he'll probably leave you footing the bill. Yeah. He claims that he's an honest businessman. Fucking run, because the guy is probably gonna like rope you into some business deal and eventually he's gonna steal your fucking money. Yeah. Because, see, the chest thumper is telling you what he wants to be but is not and can never be. Because I firmly believe in, you know, the whole adage, fake it till you make it. Oh yeah, absolutely. That, you know, you want to be something and sometimes you have to sort of like fake being that thing in order to become that thing. Yeah, but I mean that in the sense of like occupations, yeah? Like, for instance, in some job that you have that you're not 100% sure you can handle it, but, well, you say, fuck it, I'm just going to fake it till I make it. I'm going to pretend to be a really good supervisor and do everything that I see other supervisors do. And all of a sudden, after a while of faking it so much, you actually will be a very good supervisor or a very good whatever the fuck. You see what I'm saying? But chest thumping is different, because chest thumping is about a specific quality that you have. And that you cannot really fake it. And claiming to be that thing or have that quality, yeah, it will never replace actually being that thing, You see what I'm saying? You know, I don't know if I have to go into the whole definitions of this shit. You know, it doesn't really matter, okay? The bottom line, the thing that you gotta keep in mind is that a chest thumper, when he is talking about some quality that he allegedly possesses, know that he is lying. Know that he does not have that. Know that that is his insecurity, by the way, and potentially it's something that you can use very, very well to your advantage. Know that you don't want to deal with a chest thumper, especially when they claim to be alphas. You see, I've never given much stock to this whole notion of being an alpha, or there are alphas and betas and omegas or whatever the fuck. This whole Greek alphabet shit of social hierarchy, I always thought it's kind of stupid, okay? Because things are situational. Sometimes you're going to be a very dominant person in one particular setting, and in another setting, you're going to be very secondary or tertiary. And sometimes it'll be smart of you to be secondary or even tertiary and let somebody else deal with the responsibilities of whatever the fuck is going on. You see what I'm saying? Somebody else be the alpha and take the hit if everything goes tits up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You sometimes want to cede dominance. And sometimes it's very smart to cede dominance. And there are a lot of guys who consistently do this and who seem to the world to be betas, but they're doing super well. Yeah, they might be perceived by people as betas, but you know, they're the CEO of some company. I've noticed, by the way, that CEOs tend to be past masters of this. The really successful ones, they seem kind of milquetoast and beta and all the rest of it, but they're the ones running the show, and they allow people to think that they're kind of milquetoast, kind of easy, you know, go along to get along kind of guys, right? Smart motherfuckers, right? But that's for another conversation. The point about chest thumpers, right? See, a lot of them say that they're alpha. And whenever anyone ever says to you that, oh, I'm an alpha, know that he's full of shit. Know that he is full of shit and he's an insecure little guy. Yeah, and you heard me right. He is an insecure little man. A little fucking manlet. Doesn't matter his size. He could be 7 feet tall and weigh like 350 pounds of all muscle. But if he ever says to you that he's an alpha, know for a fact that he's a little bitch. And you'll be able to manipulate him and maneuver him to do whatever the fuck you want. Oh yeah. All you have to do is play to his insecurity of being alpha. All you have to do is say something like, well, you know, a real alpha would do this. Whatever the fuck. Yeah? A real alpha would jump off that bridge, you know, without a parachute and see if he can fly. That's what a real man would do. Oh yeah. And watch as the guy who's chest thumping about being an alpha, yeah, he steps on that bridge without a fucking parachute and jumps. Stupid motherfucker. But, well, you see my point. See? A guy who claims to be alpha, who claims to be top dog, yeah, he is so easy to manipulate. And this pretty much goes for all chest thumpers, but in particular these guys who claim to be alpha, okay? Because there is a certain kind of man who is incredibly insecure about his masculinity. Often as not, these men, it's not necessarily that they're gay. I'm not saying that. But a lot of times, it's that they fundamentally are not really interested in women. Okay? It's not an issue of like they want to fuck guys. No, they don't really like women. They feel horny and then they are heterosexual in the sense of wanting to stick their dick in pussy, but what they really want is the company of other men. And these guys, often as not, are the guys who constantly go on and on and on about how fucking alpha they are, okay? And so you gotta recognize this. You gotta realize where they're coming from. It's all insecurity. It's all that they want people to respect them. You know, because ultimately in life, you know, so much of what people project out into the world is a desire for respect. They want to be respected and they want to be looked up to. Sorry about that. They want to be looked up to and they're not getting it. And so they think that if they say that they are something, that because of them saying that they are something, that people will look up to them. And simple people, not very bright people, often do so. Yeah. You know, a simpleton, a person with, you know, 90 IQ points, 80 IQ points, you tell them, you know, oh, I'm alpha, you know, and you spout a few words here and there and act smart and tough. And, you know, somebody not too bright is going to say, oh, yeah, I guess he is like the top dog, you know. But you who are like a little bit more on the ball, they're just full of shit. They're just covering up their insecurities, okay? So use this. use the insecurity of the chest thumper. Use it to your advantage. And don't call him out on it. A lot of guys think that, when they come across a chest thumper, I used to be like this, by the way. A lot of guys think that they should call out the chest thumper and say, you're not really alpha, you're not really smart, you're not really a millionaire, you're not really this, that, the other. And that's immature and stupid. Yeah, it's much smarter to just keep your fucking mouth shut and your realization to yourself and use the guy's insecurity to your advantage to get what you want. Don't try to show off how smart you are, because that's a kind of chest thumping. When you suss out that the guy is a chest thumper, that he isn't an alpha, isn't a millionaire, isn't a genius, or whatever the fuck, right? A lot of guys, like I used to be, will point that out as a way of chest thumping themselves. Don't fall into that trap. I no longer do. Whenever anybody says that they're an alpha, I'm like, oh, really? I let them think what they want to think. But I use that insecurity. Be smart. See, most of the time, I gotta put this. See, we're living in a game of poker. Imagine the whole world is a single table of poker, and we all hold a hand. Some of us got dealt a great hand, and some of us got dealt a shitty hand. It doesn't matter. But the point is that, see, chest thumpers, insecure people like that, you know what they're doing? They are flashing their cards at you. That's what they're doing. They are telling you the hand that they have. If some poker player is dumb enough to show you their hand, then use it to your advantage and bet the ranch against them when the time comes.